Welcome to AS Chemistry Paper 2, AQA 2023. Here's Q1. Pause the video, read it, have a go. Okay, I'm going to go through the answers. So for this first one, we're trying to show which reagent we could use and observation to identify each of these compounds in 1.1. So you can see the first compound has CHO as a functional group, that's an aldehyde. The second has got CHOH, so that's an alcohol. So we're looking at an aldehyde and an alcohol. It's like a secondary alcohol and an aldehyde we're looking at. So the reagent we can use with the aldehyde is either Tollens reagent. Now that's basically silver nitrate dissolved in an ammonia solution. And that will give you a silver mirror, will be the observation on the inside of a test tube. Now we could also, to identify aldehydes, you've got that blue reagent, hopefully you know it. It's very similar to Benedict's solution. It's basically called Fehling's in chemistry, Fehling's solution. And just like Benedict's, it goes brick red or orange precipitate you get formed when you warm it with the aldehyde. So you can go for either of these. Spellings are really important. If you get the spelling wrong, you won't get the mark. Now, what will be the reaction with the alcohol? You can choose either one of these, Tollens or Fehling's, and you'll get no reaction, and therefore you will not get a visible change, i.e. Fehling's will stay blue and your silver nitrate solution will stay colorless, or your Tollens. And as I've said again, make sure you get the spelling right. You can see I put a red cross there where the spellings are wrong. So super duper duper. Now for 1.2, we've got another two compounds. What chemical or reagent could you use to distinguish between cyclohexane and cyclohexene? So pause the video, have a go. Okay, so you should know this from GCSE chemistry. Which reagent do we use to tell the difference between alkanes and alkenes? So we can have bromine water, which is orange, sort of a pale orange in color. And that's going to stay orange with an alkane, as there's no reaction unless you have ultraviolet light, and even then it won't go colorless. And then with the cyclohexene, the alkene, it will go orange to colorless. All right, we're going to move on to the final part of the question here. It's 1.3, and this is a difficult relative atomic mass question. Slightly tricky, slightly different. Table 1 gives the precise relative atomic mass, MR, of some organic compounds measured using high-resolution mass spectrometry. We've got a table here. Use the data in the table to find, first of all, the atomic mass of hydrogen and carbon. Give your answer to 4 decimal places. Use the calculated values of the relative atomic mass of carbon and hydrogen to then work out the molecular mass of C6H6. So the table above tells us that C5H12 has an MR of 72.1416, and we know that C5H10 is 70.1260. So all we've got to do is go C5H12 minus C5H10, which leaves 2 hydrogens. So we'll know that 72.1416 minus 70.1260 is equal to the mass of 2 hydrogens, and that is 2.0156. Now, if we want to find the mass of 1 hydrogen, we divide it by 2. We'll find that our first mark, the relative atomic mass of hydrogen, is 1.0078 using this data. So now we need to find the mass of the carbon. Well, C5H10, we're told in the table, is equal to 70.1260. We now need to take away the 10 H's, and we'll be left with just the carbon, 5 carbons. So we want to take away 1.0078 times 10 from the molecular mass. And what we're going to find, which is 10.078, we're going to end up, the 5 carbons are equal to 60.048. So now to find the mass of 1 carbon, we're going to divide that by 5, as there's 5 carbons. And that means that carbon is equal to 12.0096. And now for the final and third mark, the easiest part, because you get an error carried forward on this if you mess the first 2 up, you can at least get this mark. You just do 6 times your carbon answer and 6 times your hydrogen answer. And if it was correct, you do 6 times 12.0096 and 6 times 1.0078. Add them together and you'll get 78.1044. And that is the mass of C6H6. And that's your lot. Now, I do have to stress, if you don't hit the like, you are a deuterium, iodine, carbon, potassium. It's really important that you hit the like, share, and subscribe. It helps me and motivates me to make more of these videos to help you smash your chemistry and A-level biology. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. and let's get to the marks.
You're still here? It's over.